We got a large barge heading through here. We have a picture perfect day. We got 78 degrees and we got 11:57 in the PM. We're gonna head down the stairs here. I'm gonna try to get out on the Columbus Drive bridge here. Here's the 3 levels of Wacker Drive, Chicago, Illinois. There's the St. Regis, the tallest building designed by woman architect Jeannie Gang. There you can clearly see the lower level, middle level of Wacker Drive. The lower levels down there where they tow your car. There you can look back to the Trump Tower. Lambie T, how you doing? Thanks for being on. Hope you're having a good day there. Good afternoon. David Okoa, how you doing there? Yeah, I know. I remember you. Thanks for tuning in from Compton there. I remember we met in Lincoln Park when you were in Chicago. That's great. Hope you're doing good there in Compton. Yeah, this is, you know where we're at here, Chicago. We got 11:58, so we'll stick out on this bridge for about 2 minutes. I'm gonna head over to Navy Pier, so that's the plan for today. My lunch walk. We'll go by the 400 North Lakeshore Development Site. We've been checking the progress. You see some wind. You hear some wind. I'm sure. I feel the wind. You can probably hear it. Here we'll stick on this bridge until the Shoreline Architectural Cruise boat comes in. We'll get right in the middle of the bridge here, so you can look back to the Trump Tower, 1,200 feet tall with that spire, and there's the Wrigley Building, of course, in Chicago. How you doing? And here they're turning around. They're probably turning around because they know the Centennial Fountain's about to launch. We got 11:58, so I never know when to come on here. Shatal, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in the rain. How you doing there? Yeah, Ivan's tuning in. How you doing? Yeah. So we've done this before. I got 11:58 here. There, 11:59. So we'll start a 60-second countdown, and we'll do a pan of the whole skyline. There's the Intercontinental Hotel. There's the Onion Dome. All that's on Michigan Avenue, the top of the One Chicago Tower. There's the top of the Tribune. A portion of it, you can see the flying buttresses there. And there, of course, is the Wrigley Building. Yeah, Maugerly, nice views all around. So the reason I'm sticking here is I'm gonna. Yeah, the fountain. That's why exactly. He knows. The smart man there. He knows that we wait for the fountain. He knows why I'm waiting here. Within like 30 seconds here, I'm hoping that's why this boat turned sideways. So we'll keep focused this way. You never know when it's gonna start. And once it starts, we'll head right down past the Sheridan. This is the Sheridan Hotel. This is Streeterville, the NBC Tower, and yeah, we're looking towards Lake Michigan. There's DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Yeah. Santosh. Yeah, you doing there? There it is. There's the Centennial Fountain right on cue. You see how the boat turns sideways. And since it started there, we'll head right down to the fountain. Usually I have just enough time. It goes for about 5 minutes. Oh, it's blurry there. It goes for about 5 minutes, and then it shuts off. And so we'll head over towards the end of McCurd Court here. See, we'll leave Columbus Drive. There's Marina Towers, looking back towards the, looking west on the Chicago Riverwalk. We'll head right down to the Sheridan here, Riverwalk. There you can see the top of the Tribune and the Intercontinental Hotel. Beautiful day here in Chicago, 78 degrees. Thanks for being on. Yeah, let's head to Navy Pier. It's days like this. There you can look back to the Aeon, top of the Aqua, also designed by Jeannie Gang. We're heading down the stairs here. Looks like they got conferences going on in the Sheridan. There's this St. Regis there. Jeannie Gang did that as well. There's the Columbus Bridge. That's where we were just standing. See back to the Aeon there. But hey, the green waters, the aquamarine waters there. Here, let's see if we can see a rainbow. Sometimes you can see a rainbow. Now, the sun's probably in the wrong position. When you get the western setting sun, there's a greater chance to see the rainbow in the mist. But we might see it. The sun's directly overhead. See, the boat's turning around. Hey, Cameron, thanks for tuning in. This is Chicago. This is Chicago, Illinois. This is Chicago River. So we just went across the Columbus Bridge there. There's some of the buildings there. There's the Swiss Hotel. This is in Streeterville. We're by the Sheridan Hotel. So we're heading towards Lake Michigan. We're going to go over towards Navy Pier. And this is my lunch walk. This is my lunch break from work. I work downtown. I got a day job. that I had to pass a background check to get. The reason I say that, you know, I know people are concerned about my online activity. Thanks for spying on me. It's great, fellow citizens here. Here we'll go by. Hey, that's a beautiful dog there. But I understand people's concerns. I don't blame anybody for scrutinizing everybody else in this world. Can't trust anybody, including me. Don't trust me. I'm an anti-influencer. Take whatever I say and do the opposite. It'll probably work out better for you in the long run. Here's the there's the St. Regis. See, there's some housing here. Here's the Centennial Fountain here. Let's see if we can get over to it. There's Lizzie McNeil's. Proudly serving Goose Island beers there. Yeah, Goose Island beer in Chicago. 773-312. The area codes that they use for the beer. There it is. There's the Centennial Fountain. I still haven't seen the rainbow, but I feel the mist. I can feel the mist from the water jet there. Matty Poo. Yeah, Matt. How you doing, Matt? Thanks for tuning in there. Were you able to see any of that Lollapalooza stream there? I know you were tuning in Della. I think Diane might have saw some of it. People said the mosh pits were lame. I posted some reruns on YouTube. I think I was able to go back later. If you watch in the YouTube, we were able to see the band Tsunami, which is a hardcore band out of Oakland. I don't know if you know Tsunami, but they had some good mosh pits. Korn was amazing. I wasn't there for Korn, but that was Friday night. The mosh pit for Korn was amazing. I'm sure you can imagine. But here's the Centennial Fountain here. I'm looking for the rainbow. Where's the rainbow? But here's the Centennial Fountain here, our little Niagara Falls here in Chicago, Illinois. They got this thing back running. It was closed for several years. Here's the water cannon. Look at it go across there. Look at that, shooting a jet. What a beautiful scene here. And yeah, sometimes the boats go underneath it on really hot days. There, we're gonna see a rainbow. Maybe. No, it's just the mist. Yeah, Free Palestine. I know the sad news where they're gonna occupy Gaza. It's the, you know, what happened to the two-state solution, I know. But we won't get into that. We're not going to solve geopolitical events on my little YouTube channel here. Thanks for tuning in here. There's the Centennial Fountain. It's nice. What time we got? 12:04. So this thing's about to shut off. Let's see if we can catch it shutting off here. The Centennial Fountain, Chicago, Illinois here, Chicago River. I'm tired of me saying Chicago. There it is. It shut off. There it is. So, hey, we lasted the whole 5 minutes there. We'll say hello to our friends here in Streeterville. And we'll head up to Navy Pier here. Cool fountain there, yeah. There you go. It's huge. Hey, Anita, how you doing there? Joho. Joho, why you being mean to Shauna? The easiest way to lose access to my content, don't bash people in my audience here. Let's see here. Yeah, Shauna, or not Shauna, excuse me, Anita. Yeah, I missed some of the comments there, so please be respectful. If you don't, I will personally make it sure that you lose access. It's not a free speech thing, it's just a rudeness thing. It's just, don't be rude, you know? Yeah. Yeah, the whole state of Illinois, James, yes. The whole state of Illinois, it's legal. It's hard for me to, well, I can talk about it on YouTube. YouTube, it's much easier. I try not to get a habit of, TikTok punishes for talking about, you know, legalization of Mary Jane and stuff like that. But yeah, Illinois, Michigan, it's legal. Ohio, it's legal. These are states. Indiana, it's still illegal. Kentucky, it's still illegal. Most of the southern states, don't go to Texas. But if you know, New York State, up the whole Northeast, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, have always been hippie areas. And California, Oregon, Colorado, that's where it started. Washington State were among the first. Hey, they're fishing there. So hey, if you just joined, here we are. You can go to Normal's website. They'll tell you all about it. So you can look back to the Tribune Tower, and there's the 400 North Lakeshore. You see that? They're about 50 stories up. They still got several, like 20 more stories to go. And there's the, that's been there. This is new. This is the 400 North Lakeshore. This is the Ogden Slip. We're going to head over to Navy Pier. We got 1207. We go through here all the time here. James, how you doing there? Reza, how you doing there? Will Robinson, yeah. That's good, Albert. Hey, that's good. It's good to have goals in life. Oh, let's see, I'm missing some of the comments here. Alvarez, how you doing there? Yeah, California's legal. I saw that. That's good. Yeah, no one disrespects Shauna. Thanks, Anita. I missed what was going on because I was looking at the fountain, and it's always amazing how, you know, we'll get comments. Anybody that's blocked, they do, what did I do? What did I do? I'm like, you can't figure it out. I don't know how people function in society if they treat people this way, you know. It's just, but social media, people are ruder, you know, can be. Comments get misinterpreted, it leads to bad feelings. But please don't feed the birds. But here's Robert's Pizza. This is Robert's Pizza. I went here with Grim Evil last fall. We had some pizza there. We sat outside. It was good. Just joined. We're on the Ogden Slip. We got a beautiful 78 degree afternoon. What a good day to head to Navy Pier in the summertime. I want to see if there's boats using the, we'll go to the north side of the pier, or we'll peer over the north side of the pier. I want to see if transient boats are using the transient boat slips there that they added and opened this year. Remember, we went there earlier in the year when they first were constructing it. Here's some of the boats here, the Marquette. You can go get some Freedom Boat Club here. Here, Dorita. We might see Dorita doing his artwork here. Dorita Fine Art Gallery here on the Ogden Slip there. There he is. There he is. There he is doing his work. Here's Dorita doing another masterwork here. Dorita Fine Art Gallery. See, you got the, it's not the girl with the pearl necklace, it's the girl with the iPods. I like that. Pinch Mediterranean Grill on the river here. We went through here Saturday night and it was packed. Or was that, no, no, we didn't. We went by Taco Rio. We went by here a different evening. Thanks, honey. Thanks for subscribing there. Appreciate it. Yeah, you know, it's amazing the dichotomy we get. Like, a lot of times people are confused. They're like, is this Chicago? When I say this is Chicago, they get all kinds of, they're like, well, you know, my perception of Chicago, they want to see what they perceive. You know, there's many, Chicago's vast. There's the whole south side, the whole west side, the whole north side. There's areas on the south side that are wealthy. There's areas on the south side that are extremely impoverished and, you know, more stereotypical what people would think of the south side of Chicago. Then there's the west side, the same thing. There's amazingly expensive areas of the west side, like the West Loop, which is nearer downtown. And the further west you go towards Garfield Park and Austin, even though there's nice housing over there, it's not as wealthy. And different demographics all over the city. Same with downtown's very expensive. The downtown's more expensive than ever, you know, because there's so much housing that's been built recently. More people are living in the Loop than ever. So it is the tale of two cities. It is. And people notice it. There's a lot of Chicago gatekeepers that are trying to get no one else to move to Chicago because until we build more affordable housing, because they think it's driving up prices. And, you know, there's something to that. But I'm kind of torn. Here's 400 North Lakeshore, seen from the Ogden Slip here. Let's go up to the, let's go take a look while we're here, and then we'll head over to Navy Pier. Yeah, thanks, Reza. Thanks other people for answering. I know I missed some of the comments. If you know the answer, if someone's asking a question, you know, I know some of my mods, you know, like Sarah will be like, don't do that, people will give the wrong answer. And I'm like, well, you know, I miss comments, people have good questions, so I'm okay with it as long as we can trust the answers here. Here, the Fort Dearborn's pulling out the Ogden Slip here. This is the lower level of Lakeshore Drive, just off of Lakeshore Drive. Got concrete trucks here. Well, here, let's check out the development site here of 400 North Lakeshore. Here's the Fort Dearborn pulling out. So here we'll head over, we'll just quickly show the other side, and then we'll head over to Navy Pier. See, we'll see some nice views of Lake Michigan. I know it's really loud here because of the construction noises, but there's the, yeah, let's get the Fort Dearborn. Here goes the truck. I want to get this Fort Dearborn coming underneath us here. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. We got the Fort Dearborns heading straight out here. It's going to the mouth of the Chicago River here. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Thanks everybody for saying hello. Hello. Yeah, how you doing? That's great. Look how nice that is there. They're heading out for a river cruise. And this connects with the river. It doesn't connect with the lake unless you go through the locks. And here's the 400 North Lakeshore development shot there. Yeah. Or site. A shot of the 400 Lakeshore development site. So hey, let's head over to Navy Pier. We got 12:13. Let's take advantage of this glorious weather. 78 degrees here in Chicago, Illinois. Lower Lakeshore Drive. See, it says Streeterville. Old Streeter. Yeah, McCrae's tuning in there. Happy Tuesday, Lambie T. James. You lived in the Bronx for 12 years? Yeah, the crowds do get overwhelming. We just had Lollapalooza, and it's overwhelming when 100,000 people leave that concert, and Jody GTV and Steve Lyon and some of the other live streamers captured the scenes of the crowds. I did it 2 years ago, my original count. I would just film the crowds coming out of Lollapalooza. People filmed the crowds at the Union Station trying to catch that last train. But here, you look how you can look back to it's a clear view to the Chicago Tribune building. They purposely left that gap there so that you would have a clear view down the Ogden Slip to the Tribune. Yeah, beautiful weather, I agree. I'm a wanderer, yeah, wanderer. You ain't running traffic yet. No way. What do people think? Is Chicago tourist friendly? You know, if you stay in downtown, you know, the museums, Navy Pier, yeah, it's tourist friendly. If you get out in the neighborhoods, maybe less so, just like anywhere else. It all depends on how much money you have. What's the answer to any question? How much does it cost? Yeah, you know. Yeah, Christy, thanks for the good feedback there. Yeah, it looked like paintings. Wait till we get out to Navy Pier. We're going to see the beautiful shoreline of Lake Michigan from Navy Pier. They've just built a transient marina on the north side. That was controversial because the fishermen like to fish there on the north side. It messed up the fishing. Shows you there's positive, negatives to anything like adding. But the city wanted to monetize and make money from transient boats wanting to dock at Navy Pier. So I think they built some facilities there, and we'll go check it out here. We haven't been over here in a while. I went by Navy Pier Saturday night. We filmed the fireworks from over there, and then I took a bike ride home. Here comes the water taxi. So this water taxi, yeah, heads down the Chicago River. There's another water taxi that you can catch at Navy Pier that'll take you to the museum campus via the lake. And that's a nice one because you got nice skyline views as you go through Monroe Harbor there. Here's the Evening Star. Hey Stephanie, how you doing there? Roxanne, James. Yeah, Naples, Italy. Yeah, it's almost like canals, you know. And there's, you know, I've been to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They got all those canals there, and Venice Beach, California has the canals. With Chicago has the Chicago River. The buildings come right down to the river. It's very rare for you to be able to build buildings that tall right next to the river. Like the Trump Tower goes 1,200 feet straight down to the river. In Edgewater, they got buildings that go straight down into the lake. where you look down off your balcony, you're looking into the lake straight down. And there's no coast. The building is the coast. And that's Edgewater. The waves crash against those buildings. But see, here's the skyline of Lakeshore East. There's the Genie Gang, St. Regis here. Here's some of the routes. So, see where we're at here. We are here. These ones go down the river and go to Sears Tower and go to Michigan Avenue. If you go to Navy Pier, you catch them, you go over to the Buckingham Fountain and Museum Campus. You go down by there's Soldier Field, all the museums down there at the south end of Grant Park. And there comes a helicopter. We often see helicopters like this land at the Coast Guard. So I think this is a Coast Guard helicopter. It's probably going to land right over at the Coast Guard station there. No big deal, it happens every day. So Bob Newhart's at the very end of Navy Pier. I don't think I'm gonna have time to go out there. I got reruns. I got reruns of the Bob Newhart statue. We went out there the day he passed away. And message me if you want to see video recordings of the Bob Newhart statue at the end of Navy Pier. Let's see if we can get out here. Hey, thank you. So here, let's head to Navy Pier. Everybody's biking. Everybody's biking here, yeah. See the bike, there's a spur of the bike trail that goes right down in here. If you want to dock your divvy stations, or divvy bikes, it's over there. They got the bike and roll. You can rent bikes for the day, cruisers, and they got these four-wheeled bikes that you can take multiple people on. Good for families. See, you hear the helicopter landing at the Coast Guard station. We're at Navy Pier here in Chicago, 78 degrees, 12:18 in the PM. Ernie, how you doing there? You want a deep dish? Yeah, lemonade. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Here we are, Navy Pier, bike and roll. Look at the line. Everybody's checking. You get these type of bikes. Get these type of bikes. Bike and roll. City bike, 15 bucks. 35 all day. Comfort bike, electric bike, 25. 69 all day. The larger bikes cost more. So here, let's head to Navy Pier. I hear the helicopter. It'll probably come back several times. Here's the welcome pavilion. You can find that information. I don't think I ever go in here. Let's see what this looks like here. Yeah, so they got a welcome center here, restrooms. That's pretty much all it is. Live music at the pier. Thursdays and Fridays. Saturdays at the end, they got a big bar. They have live music usually on weekends, especially on Saturdays and Wednesdays when they shoot fireworks. You can check the schedule online, 10 o'clock, usually on Saturday. I don't know about Wednesdays. Sometimes they shoot them off earlier. Friday. Yeah, that's good. The shed. Hey, it sounds like a good day. I hope you had a good birthday there. That's good. Ev Angelos, that's good. So, hey, Dolores is tuning in there. Ernie. Great. Thanks, everybody here. Yeah, it's hard to rendezvous. Like, I miss Grim Evil. You know, it's very hard to rendezvous. It's not as easy as you think. You think you just blow into the city, and it's a vast city, you know, and spreads out in all directions. So here, Navy Pier. Children's Museum's over there. Here's the here's the shoreline heading out. July, they got the July schedule. They need to update it for August. Here's where you catch the water taxis, the shoreline. See, these head out into the lake. This is on the other side of the. There's a lock right there. That thing that looks like a submarine. It's the lock to enter the Chicago River, and the Chicago River is actually lower than the lake by like 6 inches. There's the schedule. They're putting the next thing. Here's Harry Carey's Navy Pier. Yeah, stay safe. There's shoreline. You got misters. They got misters. There's the Hebrew Brantley 3D Flyboy. His general iconic artwork here. Hebrew Brantley. You see this all over the city, and this is in 3D form there. We saw him. Hey, they got a dunking booth. Here's a dunking booth. So It'd be nice to see somebody in the dunking booth there. Maybe you can put Brian Really Chicago in the dunking booth. We'll charge you admission to dunk me there. People would line up for miles. There's food court in there if you go inside. We'll stay outside since it's such a beautiful day, and we'll get up to where they got the rides and stuff, and then we'll walk over to the north end and see if we can see if any boats are in the transient boat harbors there. Patsy, how you doing there? Yeah, you know, I would disagree with your statement there. And anonymous, you know, people do swim in the lake. I know they got E. coli in certain beaches, but that's everywhere. I grew up swimming in a dirty lake. The Ohio River is much dirtier than Lake Michigan, trust me. And I see, not that anybody swims in the Ohio River. I grew up in southern Indiana. To me, this lake, I know nothing's perfect. You know, I'm not recommending you swim there. You see me swimming? No. But I don't think it's as bad as you're making it out to be, in my personal opinion. There's the 400 North Lakeshore. You see how tall it's getting there. And that's at the mouth of the Ogden Slip there. We're looking back towards the mouth of Chicago River. This is all Lakeshore East in Chicago. That's the whole South Loop skyline down there by Roosevelt, South Michigan Avenue. There's the there's the locks to the sanitary ship canal, which is the the Chicago River. I got Ohio on the mind here. Here's the Sea Dog, and this is Navy Pier. So there you can see the lighthouse. That's the lighthouse out at the mouth of Monroe Harbor. A guy lived there in the 70s. He got married there, but it became problematic in the wintertime. He was frozen in, and then he eventually got tired of living out there. But I'm sure the views were spectacular. And here, we'll see some of them as we head up to the Ferris wheel at Navy Pier here. Thanks for tuning in. What a beautiful day. Hey, they got a stage here. They got the Shakespeare. They have the Shakespeare theater up there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to ruin the live by talking about ice issues. I know the first thing you think of is Navy Pier. You think of, I don't know if you're thinking about it with glee that all these people are being thrown into vans with masks, or if you're worried about it, you know. And of course in Chicago we get a lot of flack from the current administration, so we'll see if we'll continue to be punished. We know what it likes to feel punished. We got a president that will punish me. Big Daddy there. Here's the Ferris wheel. Hey, there I am. Look at that. Funhouse mirror. Yeah, let's head over past the Ferris wheel here. The first Ferris wheel was in Chicago. It was not this one. It was a much larger one that was at the World's Columbian Exposition there on the Midway. And then they moved it to Lincoln Park. It actually was on Clark Street there at an amusement, and then they moved it to St. Louis for the St. Louis World's Fair in 1903, and then we don't know what happened to it after that. They probably sold it for scrap. But this is the second iteration of the Ferris wheel at Navy Pier. They got heated air-conditioned cabs there. You can go around 3 times in air. Here's the airdrop. So here, let's watch them do the airdrop here. Here's, you see the John Hancock here. So here, let me back up a little bit here. Let's see if we can get them doing the airdrop here. See if they're are they done? There they go. Yeah. You got your feet dangling there. You makes your stomach feel like a roller coaster. It's a bunch of drops. See, you pay to get tortured. Yeah, this is nice. If we see this thing swinging around, I like that. So they got restrooms, Navy Pier. Here's the Ferris wheel. There's a little small one. There's a little. There's the bigger one. And they got putt-putt golfing here. All the blue water. How you doing? Here, let's. Okay, here's what I was talking about. Look, there's a houseboat. So you see these slips here. There's the Jardine water plant. So there's Streeterville. There's the John Hancock. Look at that beautiful Streeterville skyline. We'll head over to Ohio Street Beach on the way back. You see these angled docks here. This is the transient boat harbor here north of Navy Pier, and look, there's a few boats. There's a houseboat. I wonder if there'd be any houseboats permanently moored here. Probably not. But yeah, there's a lot of boats using this. Look at that. There's a lot of boats using the transient harbor here. And there's the building. There's the building that they constructed. I think there's restrooms and showers and things like that, and ice. And here, let's head over there. Yeah, Margie, I'm trying to be a better facilitator here, a moderator, or a just a MC here. Just, as I often say, Chicago's the real star. I'm just a facilitator, interacting with the comments, and that's the hardest thing is dealing. The comments sometimes go by so fast, and I miss comments, and then people get frustrated because they really want to ask a question and I missed it. My moderators help out a lot. They can answer questions. We get the same questions over and over again sometimes. That's what they built there. We saw when they were constructed. That's built out of containers, shipping containers, and that's the amenity building for the transient boat harbor here at Navy Pier. Oh, I'm sure they're expensive. Everything's expensive. I mean, I think the number one question I've gotten all year is, how expensive is this? Like, everybody's very concerned about prices. Even in the age of Trump, everybody's concerned about how much stuff costs and how far their dollar goes. And this started to happen. Hopefully we won't have stagflation. We'll see what happens with the Federal Reserve. See, they got the little kitty one here. Here's another. They're loading people up for the gravity drop here. But hey, maybe we'll get this swing spinning around here. And we got 1228 Navy Pier. We're under the Ferris wheel here. Thanks for tuning in. Beautiful lake views. Yeah, and so Deb's World. Did you notice I did not pay an entry fee? This is free. Everything I'm doing now, it costs money to ride the rides. If you ride the rides, I think it's $5 per ride. I'm not for sure. The check online. This costs more. This costs like 20, 30 bucks. And it is expensive to ride the Ferris wheel. You only go around 3 times. My cousin Matty Poo knows that. He treated my dad and me to a Ferris wheel ride a few years ago. We took it there. There it goes. It's going around. They got air-conditioned cabs, heated cabs. You can ride it year-round. And here we're up on the top of the Ferris, or the top of Navy Pier. But it's free to walk around. It's just, there's a McDonald's here if you're worried about expensive food. There's you can bring your own food. Nope, nothing's stopping you from bringing your own picnic and just coming to Navy Pier. You got to go back to, like, when my parents raised me and my sister. It was during the recession of 81, 82, and we never ate out. My parents would can their own food. They would raise a big garden, potatoes. We'd have to go out there and hill the potatoes and raise the food for the garden and can it. They would can green beans, they would can corn, and there was not much eating out. The very luxurious lifestyles that we live here in the city. I know, being able to afford to eat out almost every night, every day for lunch, that was unheard of, at least where I grew up in the country. So, and in the city too, people had to tighten their budgets. But here, let's head down to the main stage here. I don't have much time to dawdle here. I really wanted to see that swing start. There it goes. Now it's starting to swing around. So this is what I wanted to see here. They're going to swing. Hopefully they'll swing the swing around here, and we'll get it flared out here. Nope, they're just moving it to load up people. So there's times where I've waited 20 minutes for that thing to start. And if you're sitting on there waiting for it to go, I think that would get boring. You're just sitting there waiting for the whole thing to start. Oh, there it goes. There it is going. So look, as soon as I turn my back, it starts going here. There it is. So there's the swing going around there. There we go. There it is. So welcome to Navy Pier. Welcome to Chicago. How you doing? That's good. Hey, thanks for saying hello. So they used to have a palm tree court in that greenhouse, but they got rid of it after the pandemic. The trees kind of died, and then they put a big virtual reality thing in there, and now I think they're setting up for, hey, there's the gravity drop. So here's some of the rides at Navy Pier. You can see what's going on. You got the carousel, you got the swing, and you got the gravity drop, and then we got the Ferris wheel. But again, you got to pay for all these rides. It's a la carte. And if you don't pay, it's free. Like what I'm doing, I just walked around here. There it is. Here, we'll show you the putt-putt golf course here. There's a putt-putt golf here at Navy Pier. Just giving people an overview of what's here. It's so nice to see this ride going around here. That's what I was waiting for. Yeah, I was looking to see if tourism was going to take a hit. Now, Chicago, we get more domestic tourism than other United States cities. We, like for Lollapalooza, a lot of people that come in for Lollapalooza don't come from Canada. They come from the suburbs of Chicago in the Midwest. And I know Las Vegas and San Antonio, they got their tourism's down because of the Canadian boycott. And I'll let you know if it shows up in Chicago's numbers. I'm concerned about that as well. And it shows you positive and negatives to everything. And we still don't know the long-term effects of the tariffs. We don't know the long-term effects of the change in, you know, the tax cuts and the debt ratio and what the Federal Reserve is going to do. We don't know. It seems like the current president's desperately trying to find a new leader of the Federal Reserve that he could put pressure on, unlike Jerome Powell. who Trump appointed in his first term, and Biden reappointed him, and now Trump wants to get rid of him. It's so funny. Here's but here we're at Navy Pier here in Chicago. Yeah, Tuesday afternoon's not so busy. This is, yeah, it was much more crowded here on Saturday. Trust me, I didn't even go on Navy Pier. We filmed the fireworks from way over there because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to get a connection because it was pretty crowded. It wasn't just Lollapalooza, it was people in town for the summertime. But hey, Harry Carey's are sitting in the glove there. How you doing? That's great. Yeah, what a nice shot there. Yeah, you sit on the baseball, Harry Carey's Tavern. Lake Effect frozen cocktails, $15 here. Go to Harry Carey's and get a drink here. Navy Pier. So we got 12:34. We got a half an hour to get back to Michigan Avenue, so we'll go over to Ohio Street Beach. We'll see some skyline views of Streeterville. Maybe we'll go out into Olive Park. Hey, look, enjoy Lady Gaga, Oprah, and George Bush. I don't know why those three. What? I guess because they ate here. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Those people have like nothing in common, but besides that they ate at this Chef Art Smith reunion here. So here, let's go over and check out this fountain. There's a beautiful fountain, and summertime you can splash in it. Here, let's look back to the skyline there. Burger looks good there. Yeah, what happened to Margie there? Sorry. Yeah, living vicariously. Yeah, the military budget. Yeah, you notice they didn't cut the military budget. Did anybody notice that? They cut Medicaid, or Medicaid for grandma. They cut like child services. They cut PBS. They cut Sesame Street, and they cut funds provided for public transit and liberal cities. But they didn't cut the defense budget. And actually, Europe's paying more for NATO defense, and that's changed the equation too. But hey, they're running through the fountains there. Look at that. This is the Polk Brothers Park. The Polk Brothers had a store here in Chicago that, just like Goldblatt's, it was different than Goldblatt's, but Chicago-based store, Polk Brothers, and they donated some money. But hey, they're running through the water there. So you got to really plan your steps there. It's like a game there to stay not getting wet there as the water changes. This is Navy Pier. This is the fountain here. And we're heading over towards Ohio Street. See, he was swimming. He was swimming right here. Yeah, how you doing? Hey, enjoying the beautiful day. We live for this. We're summertime. Get out there and enjoy it. So here's the butterfly garden. This one you have to pay to go to. There's one in the Peggy Notabar Nature Museum. You have to pay for that one too. But this one's closer to Navy Pier. It's a butterfly house. Maybe you can check it out here. We'll run across the street here once these cars move through here. Okay, good. So Navy Pier, that's where we were at. See, there's the transient boat harbor. Here's the butterfly garden. I'm not going to go in there because it costs money, but you could see people in there. You can see through the netting there. So here, let's head over to Olive Park. This is Lake Point Tower. So John, I don't know if my live stream is about anything. What I do. So I started seeing the New York live streamers just walk around New York City, and then Duran would be on his one wheel there in LA in the middle of the night. And I said, you know, I walked through some touristy, beautiful areas of Chicago, Lakefront, Lincoln Park, Old Town, Michigan Avenue, the Water Tower. I work near the Bean. So it was really easy and convenient for me to just live stream my walk to work, live stream my walk home. On weekends, we go to different neighborhoods of the city. Like we go into the west side, we'll go to the south side. I plan on going to the south side to film the Bud Billiken Parade on Saturday, which is the true south side of Chicago, Bronzeville, from 55th, Washington Park, all the way up to 35th. And this is my lunch break. So usually I have barely enough time to get to work before 8 o'clock, and I don't have time to see the Bean and the Riverwalk and Navy Pier. And so at lunchtime, I realize I need to be on a different platform besides TikTok. So morning and night I'm on TikTok. Lunchtime I'm on YouTube, because any of these accounts could get deleted, removed. I could violate the terms and conditions. Or, you know, TikTok, we thought it was going to go away, and that's why I have a presence here on YouTube. People in India and stuff can't watch on TikTok. People do tune in from India. It's a billion people. And here, Medal of Honor. This is Milton L. Olive Park III. Milton L. Olive was tragically died in the Vietnam War. He jumped on a grenade that saved his platoon's life, and that's why they honored him in this park. That happened in the early 1960s, really early in the Vietnam War. And they named this Milton Olive Park here next to the Jardine Water Plant. This is the peninsula of land that they added. See how there's a beach over here? This is Ohio Street Beach, and we'll walk through there, 1240. And I'll film it from afar because I don't want to be accused of filming scantily clad women or children or people yelling at me for stuff I don't understand here. We're in the public here, but you know, I know not everybody likes live streamers walking around beaches. I get it. I don't want to be a creep, but I am a creep. Here's Olive Park here. Used to picnic there. Yeah, it's a nice place to picnic here. Ohio Street Beach, Olive Park. They used to have big fountains up here, but they don't run the fountains anymore because I guess they had problems with them. And here I just want to head around this fence. We'll show you this beach, and then we'll walk back to downtown. There's really nice views of the skyline up here. Maybe I'll show you that on our way back here. But here we're in Olive Park here. See, if you look over there, there's the John Hancock Streeterville. You can look back to what I call the Furniture Mart. And I know that's not the correct name of it. And hey, they got some kayaks here. You can launch a kayak right here off of Ohio Street Beach. Look at that. Building castles and people are swimming. The water's great. Water's August and September, the lake water is the warmest, best for swimming. Still kind of cooler than you'd expect in Gulf waters or Atlantic Ocean. It's more like the cool waters of the Pacific. But here's Olive Park, 1241 here. Look, there's a bird. You see this bird down here? This bird's just hanging out on the rocks. But here's Ohio Street Beach here. Let's get just a little further here. Oh, sorry, there's somebody. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt here. I didn't see you sitting there. Here we go. Okay, good. So here there we go. Let's get just a little further. See, look at these rocks. You can see them going down. This is called the playpen. So there's a lot of boats that gather here. This was really packed on Saturday since it's Tuesday. That's the whole Gold Coast skyline there. And then we'll go around to Streeterville. Here's the John Hancock, 875 North Michigan. And there's the Furniture Mart. I'm missing all the comments here. Oh yeah, this would be a fantastic spot to watch the Air and Water Show. I agree. Anywhere from Ohio Street Beach here, all the way north to Montrose. The Air and Water Show's not next weekend, it's the weekend after next. This weekend's the Bud Billiken Parade, and there's some other stuff. Grim Evil sent me some information. There's some stuff going on in Printers Row. And here's Ohio Street Beach. What a beautiful day, look at that. So I got to get back. I got barely enough time to get back here, so here we'll show you the skyline. See, that's where we were just at. That's at Navy Pier. There's the Ferris wheel and the swings there. And so yeah, the Sears. Well, this is the John Hancock. So the Sears Tower is on the other side of the loop, and you can't see it from here because it's blocked by too many other buildings, even though it's the tallest building in Chicago. There you can see the 400 North Lakeshore, and then construction. That's the one under construction here. This is all pretty much housing here. And yeah, I've lived here for 26 years. Yeah, I'm not a native Chicagoan. People often ask me that. I moved here in 1999. I grew up in the country, but of Indiana. But a fool for the city. That's why we show it off here. But hey, thanks for tuning in there. See Navy Pier. We were over there. We'll head past Ohio Street Beach. We'll head right back into the city. Look at this spectacular view of Streeterville, Lake Michigan, Lakeshore Drive. You see this big, they used to be fountains here, but they don't run them anymore, these big circle concrete things. So the Sears Tower, for years, Willis owned the naming rights. They call it the Willis Tower. Willis lost the naming rights in 2025, but it doesn't matter because Aon, another insurance company, bought out Willis, another insurance company. And so I don't even know if Willis is part of Aon now or if they still have Willis. But it's offices. They rehabbed the whole building. It had its 50th anniversary there, the Sears Tower. And they rehabbed the whole thing, added a food court. We've got reruns on it. I guess I should head back over there. I've got reruns on TikTok from the top of the John Hancock, the 94th floor there. I don't have reruns from the Sears Tower because I'm too cheap to pay the admission. But we'll get up there eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, the Sears Tower is still offices. It's just a lot of different offices. And they rehabilitated the old post office building, and there's several offices, major offices, that have relocated to the old post office building, which has a huge green roof. The 311 South Wacker building just got purchased. It was a major haircut. Somebody got it for a lot less than somebody else paid for it just a few years ago, and they don't know if they're going to convert that to housing or not. It's going to be problematic. It's the wrong floor plate. But there was even talks of tearing it down, which I strongly can't imagine them tearing down a perfectly good building that was built in 1990 or 1989. But it's happened before. They tore down the Morrison Hotel, where the Chase building is. That used to be the Morrison Hotel, and it was like 50 stories tall, and they tore it down. And that was in the 1960s. But here we'll head over to Ohio Street Beach, and then we'll quickly head back through Streeterville and go back to work here. Hey, 1246. Yeah, fascism is expensive. Are you talking about the Trump administration? Or are you talking about Chicago politics? I can't tell. Maybe they're the same. They're just different aspects of the same coin. Rent kayaks here. There you go. But here's Ohio Street Beach. We'll get you nice views to Lake Michigan, Streeterville skyline. Here's some restrooms here. I'm gonna get a sandy shoe here. Hey, they're playing volleyball here. Hey, here's your summertime. Who else takes you to the beach in their lunch hour here? Look, they got this whole Cafe Olivia here playing volleyball. Yeah, the lifeguards out here. So look at this view. You got that beautiful backdrop, these 1,000-foot tall buildings next to the lake. This is freshwater, Lake Michigan, Cafe Olivia. You can sit out here, have a drink, go up to the bar there, go rent a umbrella here at the cabana. Yeah, I'll get something to eat. Don't worry. I always get something to eat. Trust me. Do you see how much I weigh? I'm a large man here. I weigh over 250 pounds. I think I'll make it. But appreciate it. Thanks for... that's why Jennifer, you should eat. She puts it in her name there. And then there was our other friend. He was, you should drink. But here, Ohio Street Beach, Chicago, Illinois. Here, what a beautiful day here. Yeah, just getting the rays of the sun. Look at these people sitting under the blue awnings. The bar, Cafe Olivia here. Get lunch. So you got gentle waves here, gentle waves. Fresh water. You don't get all salty. Yeah, Chicago's got crazy politics. I know I'm used to. I make fun of it too because, you know, it's sometimes the only way to maintain sanity. People think I endorse everything the mayor does. That isn't true, you know, just like any politicians, you know, but hey, there's a cute dog here. How you doing, the doggy? Yeah. So here we'll head over to hey, the green flag means it's safe to swim. Very, very calm day here. So you can ride the bike. This is the bike path. See, everybody's up along the bike path here. Yeah, cute dog. Squirrels are collecting extra nuts. Yeah, it could be a cold winter. We'll see. Here comes a bike. You're almost there. Cafe Olivia, Ohio Street Beach. Join us. Mediterranean fare, burgers, craft beer. That's this right here. Cafe Olivia here at Ohio Street Beach. Jane Addams Memorial Park. Jane Addams, the Hall House. We've got reruns of the Hall House, and a trailblazer in not only women's rights but champion for the poor and immigrants. The Hall House there, public outreach, philanthropy, and she got a park named after her, many other things. But here this is a pedestrian underpass that goes under DuSable Lakeshore Drive and gets us back to Streeterville. So we'll probably head right back over to the Centennial Fountain because it's going to start again in 10 minutes. Let's see if we can make it back to the Centennial Fountain in 10 minutes, and then we'll win the live there where we started. We'll come full circle. Yeah, I got to go back to work. Thanks, Pizza Lisa. Thanks for letting people know. Whether people are asking me to go places, they're like, go here, go there. Yeah, I got a full-time job. People ask that all the time. People assume I'm like, I don't know why people assume I'm making, you know, I don't make enough off of social media to quit my day job, nor would I trust social media to be around. TikTok could end at any time, you know. I'm amazed it's still going. That's why we're on YouTube here. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube. Thanks for being on, Pizza Lisa and everybody else here. We'll head up to Streeterville here. I still need to add you, Pizza Lisa. I'll look, Lisa, it's up to you. Only if you want to help us out here on YouTube. If you want, send me a message on YouTube. Either just reply to at your convenience, no rush. You could wait a week to do this. Just reply to one of my YouTube video live reruns and then that's the easiest way for me to add you as a moderator, because the search tools in YouTube are horrible. I search for Pizza Lisa, nothing comes up. I just want to search my users, my followers, and I have a hardest time finding stuff on YouTube because I'm probably searching the wrong way. I have a hard time finding stuff on TikTok too. And it's by design because they want everybody to wait for stuff to show up on your For You page, because that's what they want to condition us all, just to be served up for content with the advertising, and you can't tell what's advertising and what's user-generated content. And a lot of user-generated content is advertising as well. And whether I acknowledge it or not, I am advertising for the city just by walking through the city. So Yes, I wish I would get a tax break. That would be nice. But here, welcome to Streeterville. We just left Navy Pier and Ohio Street Beach there. And yeah, thanks, peace, Lisa. Well, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people only started an account just so they could watch not just my content, but other people's content on YouTube. Not everybody is a content creator. You do post good videos. I've seen some of yours on TikTok, but yeah, YouTube's a different beast. But it's good that I've learned multiple platforms. Instagram, I don't interact with anyone on Instagram. Now I know, I got some reruns on there, and I do scroll through content, but I find the content on, I agree with the woman I talked to yesterday. Instagram has over-sexualized content, a lot of violent content. Sarah never liked Instagram. Sarah didn't want me to live stream from Instagram when I lost my TikTok account. I said, why don't we just do Instagram? Sarah goes, no, I don't like Instagram. And since Sarah was my main moderator at the time, I stayed on TikTok and rebuilt the TikTok account because Sarah liked TikTok even more than YouTube. Sarah didn't like when I did the widescreen YouTubes because it made her sick going past the trees. It looked like I was smacking the trees or the signs with the widescreen. Hey, Michael's tuning in, Amber's tuning in, peace, Elisa, Ernie. Yeah. Bonjour, Mina, how you doing there? Yeah, it's been a long time. Thanks for coming back, Amber. We remember you. Old days. Everything will be different in 50 years. Yeah, you're right. We were supposed to be living in space right now, right? We didn't get flying cars. We just got self-driving cars, and even those aren't perfected yet. It's taking longer to do all this stuff. But here at 12:53, we'll head down. This is McClurg Court. McClurg Court will have a nice view looking down towards the St. Regis. We'll head right down towards the Centennial Fountain, and we'll end this live right where we started with the Centennial Fountain water jet. And every hour on the hour. The Jetsons, yeah, people living in the sky. A penthouse apartment in the sky. We're moving on up the Jeffersons to the east side. Chicago's new east side. Lakeshore East. Hey, walking the dogs here. So Streeterville. There's the Streeterville statue. So there's a statue of old Streeterville. Let's see if we got time to cross the street here. Yeah, let's cross the street. Why not? Wait till this car turns here. Yeah, we'll show you the statue to Streeter. So Streeter landed his lake steamship, ran aground in the 1880s. There was a sandbank that developed here after the Great Chicago Fire, and a bunch of new land came out there, and he claimed it was not on the charts, on the maps, the real estate maps, so he claimed it for himself. He lived on the boat. It became a shantytown developed around it, a vice district, and he lived there for the next few decades. He became quite a character in this area. His name was Streeter, and they called it Streeterville. Captain George Streeter there he was. He was the honorary mayor of Streeterville. And look at it now. If you could see what it looks like now, you wouldn't believe it. A list of things you never want to do. That's a good joke there, D. Michael. That's why they call it work. No one wants to do it unless they pay people money to do it. The Michael tears. Yeah, all the Michaels are in the house. That's good. Yeah, merci. Yeah, Astro. Meet George Jetson. Jane, his wife. Daughter Judy. His boy Elroy. And Astro the dog. And then there was Rosie. Rosie was the robot. And what else? Spacely Sprockets, his boss. George Jetson. Here, let's stay in the shade. So there's the Target. That used to be a different thing. This is this big long warehouse. Here's some of the housing here in Streeterville. You might get another view. Water spouts, the boats could go under it. Yeah, the boats waited out because of the The mist, yeah, the people get wet. That's why we saw the boat earlier. When we saw it earlier in this live, you can rewind to the beginning, and the boat turned sideways so everybody could get a picture of it in the tour boat. Yeah, in years past, I would see the boats go right underneath it, but now I don't see them go underneath it. People bring umbrellas. But here's City View condominiums here, 480 McClurg Court. You can see the 400 North Lakeshore Development site. There's the Ogden Slip. We already walked down there. We're heading back towards the Centennial Fountain here. 12:57. My timing's pretty good here. We should be able to get over there just in time to catch the water cannon launching. It should be 1 o'clock on the dot. Chicago Central Time there. Peace out. Yeah, there was an article in the New York Times this morning keeping that story alive about, Epstein and Trump connections. And I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories about them reaching out to Ghislaine Maxwell and offering her a pardon deal. And imagine that. Is that going to placate people that want the files released if she gets pardoned for taking the fall and covering up for not just the current president, but whoever else is on that list? And we talk about that. I know it's on everybody's mind. It comes up every day. People bring it up. I can't, that's why I have to touch upon stuff in the news. This is stuff in the news, just like the Gaza war. People brought that up. Ukraine war is still going on. But hey, we're enjoying summer here. Welcome to Chicago. Here's the Genie Gang designed St. Regis Tower. The sun's straight above it. Here's the Nicholas J. Milas Centennial Fountain. And here, let's head underneath it here. We got 1 minute. We got 1 minute till the water cannon launches. So there, one person goes one way, one goes the other here. We'll head underneath the waterfall here. Centennial Fountain here, Chicago, Illinois. Look at that. Yeah, we're underneath the waterfall here. Feels good. It feels good to be in the cool waters here. So here, let's see if we see this Centennial Fountain launch here. We got 12:59, 1 o'clock. Keep your eyes peeled on this little pyramid thing behind this pigeon. And it's the Centennial Fountain here, Chicago River. We'll get nice skyline views. The Swiss Hotel is there. Keep your eyes focused on this little pyramid thing. There it goes. Look at that. See, I pointed to it and it took off. There's the Centennial Fountain. We saw it twice in the same live. How's that for timing? I walked all the way to Navy Pier and back and perfectly timed the start and end of the Centennial Fountain from hour to hour. We saw it at noon. Now we saw it at 1 o'clock here. The Centennial Fountain here. Look at these nice views. See, we walked underneath there. There it is. Yeah. Look how it's kind of sideways. It's kind of blowing to the side there. Oh, you want to come in the way? Everywhere you go, I'm in people's pictures here. There we go. Perfect timing. See that pizza, Lisa? Yeah. Thanks for being on the Centennial Fountain, Chicago, Illinois. Right across from the St. Regis. The sun went behind it there, which is nice. Sometimes you can see a rainbow. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We'll be on after 5 o'clock tonight on TikTok. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube. Yeah, Lisa, we'll get everything squared away. Thanks everybody else, Michael and Anita and Mary Therese and Shauna and everybody else for being on here. And McCrae, we'll catch you all later here from Chicago, Illinois. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. The Centennial Fountain here. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll keep the good content coming here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, the Suburban Garden. Yeah, we'll talk to you later there. Thanks everybody. Really appreciate it. There it is.